Now this is probably you when you're doing your photo shoots. You rock up to set, you're kind of nervous, you don't really know what's going to happen. You're like, oh, how do I pose the model, or what lighting should I do? Like, all these negative thoughts are going through your head. You have those awkward moments with the model where you don't really know what to do next, like what poses do I do, and what the lighting should be. Like, your team and the model are kind of discreetly begging for your direction. You're all over the place. And because of this, you're not present on the shoot. You're not really enjoying the experience. You're just stressed out, nervous the entire time. Again, you have those awkward moments where you don't even know what to do next. You're kind of stuck, and it's just not the best experience. You finish the shoot a complete mess, and then you go home, you edit the photos, and you're like, oh, I should have done that lighting setup, or I should have done that pose, or that type of composition or shot. Why did I not do that? You know you could have done a way better job otherwise. And you send the photos to the clients and they say something vague like, oh, great job, or thank you for the photos, these are really cool. And then they take 2 weeks to pay you back, 30 days to pay you back. But now, imagine that you're a photographer that shows up on the day, you're confident, you're excited, you're ready to take amazing photos. You work with a team, they respect you, you are the leader of the entire photo shoot. You're really taking charge, you know what you're doing. There's never that awkward moment where you're like, oh, what pose should I do now, or what lighting setup should I do next? And you're sitting there for like 10 minutes wondering what you should do. But no, you're like powering through it. You know exactly your pose after pose after pose. You set up the lighting, so you set up the lights really quickly because you plan the lighting beforehand. You know what you're doing.
You can't fake this level of sweat.
And best of all, because the flow of the photo shoot was so good, you finished like an hour in front of schedule. You get home, you edit the photos, you love them yourself, you're really proud of them, you send the client the invoice and the photos, of course, and they love them too. They're like, oh wow, you were the best photographer I've ever worked with. They compliment on your communication skills and how comfortable you made everyone feel on the day. It's a great little thing. They express that they want to work with you again, and best of all, they send you your money on time. They send it next day, they send it even sometimes the same day. And you just got paid more than most normal people would make from a whole month worth of shifts from their 9-to-5 job in one photo shoot. Now it's on to the next photo shoot. This is the experience of a confident and skilled portrait photographer, and it's my experience for basically all of my photo shoots. And it's amazing, and I get paid to do what I love. And once you want to learn even more beyond these videos about how to make money as a portrait photographer, click the top link below, which is my photography program, Photo Genius University. That will give you all the information that you need to know to building up a profitable photography business. So again, if you're interested, click the top link below for more details, and let's get back into the video. As you can tell, the latter photographer, the more experienced and confident photographer, they not only obviously find the experience of shooting much more enjoyable than the first example that I showed you, but also they get paid way more money than them. And they're able to build up this reputation of a highly professional and confident photographer, which obviously will get them more work in the future, because you can imagine if the client is referring you to other people as a really confident and fun photographer to work with, that's like perfect traits as a photographer that you kind of need. So you're going to be getting more work, of course. And you may be one of those photographers right now who struggles with confidence, who struggles with that leadership mindset on their photo shoots. So in this video, I'm going to give you some tips to help improve on your confidence so you can book more shoots in the future, because I'm a confident photographer and I'm able to book a lot of shoots. So if you want to get in my position, keep watching the video. And by the way, you don't need to be this highly skilled photographer to become confident. Yeah, obviously that does help, like your skill, your sheer skill as a photographer, like your lighting skills or your posing skills, that does help, of course, but it isn't 100% necessary. Like, you can be a confident photographer without being the best in the game, or even mediocre. You can be quite mediocre photographer and be quite confident. So obviously in this video, I'm going to give you some tips that is not to do with skill to improve on your confidence. The first tip to improving your confidence as a portrait photographer: preparation. No matter how confident or unconfident you are about your skills as a portrait photographer, preparation is essentially the cure to all those issues. It doesn't matter if it's a paid shoot, if it's a collaborative shoot like a portfolio building shoot that you're doing with your friends or something like that. Preparation, like the pre-production phase, should be your main focus before the shoot. Do genius shoots. That's like a term that I've coined recently, like I've trademarked it basically. Your genius shoots are basically when you take it 100% seriously. You plan the shoot, you budget the photo shoot, and then you source a team for that photo shoot. So obviously for your collab shoots, you can do all three, but for your more client-based shoots, which obviously means they've already budgeted the photo shoot, they've probably already sourced a team for it, so you don't really need to focus on those two aspects. But the first thing of planning the photo shoot, that is something that you need to be doing no matter what shoot you're doing. So if the client already has a vision or a solid like concept for the photo shoots and they know what they want to tell in the photos, then you want to plan everything possible. So that isn't the concept, of course. So you've got a shot list, a pose list, maybe a styling plan if they haven't done that already, lighting plans, mood boards, the whole lot. Because when you do this, you're putting the client in a position where they can collaborate with you on your concept, because now you've sent them your vision. You basically like contextualized your vision, if that's the word, contextualizer. You put it into a document, you put it into a PDF, you put it into like a PowerPoint slideshow or whatever, and you're showing it off to the client. You're telling them exactly what you're going for. It's not just in words being like, I'm going for something like this, but you're showing like visual representations of what you're going for. So when they see that, they know exactly what you're going for. So that means they can either approve of it or disapprove of it. They can look at that and go, okay, I don't really like that, or I really like this, but let's change something like that. Maybe do this type of styling or this type of lighting or something like that. Maybe we should do that backdrop instead of that colored backdrop. Like, there's all these different options here that obviously you could change. They can pick out and be like, I like that one, but I don't like that. Or they might like the whole thing and all. You never know. Because you don't want to have this vision or this look in your mind and you just don't tell the clients. I mean, they're paying you and you're just going to rock up on the day and be like, okay, I'm going to do something like this. And once if on the day, they're like, don't really like that look. Don't really like what that looks like. Then it's like, wow. And then you start blaming the client, thinking like that's the client's fault, when really, realistically, it's your fault, because you should have told them that way beforehand. You should have told them that weeks in advance to show them what you're going for. Like for me, when I'm sending briefs to clients, I'm sending them like 2 weeks before, a week before the shoot or something like that, and they can look at that and be like, okay, do I agree with that? Do I like this concept? Do I like this? And I let them know. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you like about it. Is there anything we can change? And sometimes it's like, oh, they like the entire thing. They don't want anything changed. It's perfect. Other times it's like, okay, I like this, but I don't really like that. Maybe we should change that. And that's good. That's a good thing, because you want to make the client happy, right? So yeah, you want to do that. And because of this planning, when you rock up the set, you've planned the lighting, you've got like a lighting diagram or something like that, you've got a shot list, you've got a pose list or something like that, you've got like a mood board of different types of poses that you want to do or something like that. You can truly tunnel vision into your vision for the photo shoot. You're not wasting any time worrying about, oh, what lighting should I do here? How many lights should I put in here? What softboxes should I use? Like, no, you've already got that all decided beforehand. You've done all that beforehand. The same with the poses. You know exactly what poses you want to do first because you made a shot list. You know what types of shots you want to do, what lenses you want to use first. It isn't this thing of like juggling between like, oh, should I do this first or this first? Like, it's all planned out. Nothing's just like willy-nilly, nothing's freestyle on the day, and it just makes it much more, it improves the flow by a significant amount. Like for me, for every single photo shoot that I do, I'm planning out the lighting at least. Like I always have a lighting diagrams, I have a shot list ready, and I know exactly what I want to do when I show up. Like when I show up to like the studio or something, because I'm mainly a studio photographer, like I mainly do stuff in the studio, I'm instantly setting up lights. Like I know exactly what modifiers I'm going to use, I know exactly how many lights I'm going to use. Am I going to use strobes or continuous lights? I know what modifiers I'm going to have, what softboxes, what reflector dishes, what beauty dishes I'm going to use. I know exactly everything there is to do with lighting, and it will take me like 10 minutes to set up the lights. Before, like a couple of years ago, you could probably like ask any of the models that I used to work with if you could find them, they'll literally say the same thing with like, lighting was definitely a weak point of mine beforehand. Like yeah, it was because I was still kind of learning about lighting, but it was mainly because I wasn't really planning the lighting very well. I didn't really plan it out beforehand, so on the day I'm spending like 45 minutes figuring out what lighting do I want. I'm like testing out the lighting on the model, and it would take so long just to get into the photo shoot and get into the flow of things to start by taking photos. But now it's like an afterthought. It's like boom, Lights set up, done, ready. Like lighting is like the easiest thing for me now because I plan it out. And obviously I understand lighting too now. Obviously I've had a lot of experience with lighting, so obviously I know what each light does and how each modifier affects the light and stuff. But yes, but it is mainly down to the planning of it. Because every shoot that I do, I'm super confident in my ability to take good photos. Like, yes, that comes from experience, but it also comes from the preparation, because I know exactly what I want to do, and it shows in my body language. I'm very like, I'm up straight, I'm confident, I'm social, I'm very like, I'm having fun, I'm laughing, I'm making the model laugh, I'm making the team laugh. It's all a great fun experience and fun time for everyone, which is obviously extremely important as a photographer, because not only are you building up a reputation of a more pleasant person to work with, but also you're helping the model ease a little bit more. Is that word, ease? I don't, you know what I mean? Like they can loosen up. That's the word. They're loosening up a little bit more because like they're more confident and more comfortable around you, so you can get the best poses out of them. You can get the best performance out of them. Same with your team, right? If you're working with assistants or something, they feel very relaxed when they're working with you, which helps them work at their best. And you also just communicate much better because you're present on the shoot. You're not stressing about, oh, was this lighting good, or is this pose good, or something like that. Like, you actually know, you don't have to really think about that because it's just like an afterthought, because you already know the lighting's good, you already know the model's doing a good job, so you can communicate in a much better way because you're present. You can be like, okay, I want something like this, and you don't have to like, you're not like muttering your words, you're not stuttering, you're not like speaking all quiet, because again, you have that, there's no tension, because you know that you're taking good photos, you know you're doing a good job because of that preparation. And these methods and beyond are the things that I teach on my photography program, Photo Genius University. So I want to quickly plug that right now. If you want someone to be by your side and basically hold your hand through your photography journey, that program is for you. I literally go on calls with you every single week. I look over your portfolio, tell you exactly what type of work that you need to create to land clients in the future. Obviously, I will answer any of your concerns. I'll help you improve on any weak points of your photography, if that is confidence, if that's just something more technical like lighting, or it's something about how you could communicate with clients and build up a reputation that will make you profitable as a portrait photographer. And you also get access to super informative courses that will tell you exactly how I built up a profitable photography business, and yes, give you the blueprint basically, so it fast tracks your progress, so you're not, again, wasting years of your life and years of your photography career where you're not really knowing what to do next. So, but if you're interested in that, click the top link below for more details, and I want to see you inside the program. The second piece of advice I'm going to give you about improving your confidence as a portrait photographer, your mindset. You need to have this superiority mindset. You need to have this mindset of like, you're the boss, you know what's going to happen, you know what's best. Because you're the photographer, the client hired you for a reason. They didn't hire you to be super timid and be like, oh, what should I do? And like, no, like they hired you to be a confident and almost a bossy type of person, because you're the photographer. They hired you for a reason, so show that superiority. You are superior to everyone else. Not in a rude way, by the way. Not in like a rude way of being like, I'm better than you. Like, not like that, like in like a personal thing, but in a sort of like sense of, yeah, like I've planned this photo shoot out from the preparation part. You know exactly what you're going for, so you know best. You know what lighting you want to do. You know what poses you want to do. You know everything like that. You don't have, you're not going to rely on someone else to tell you what to do, or like what poses you should do, or what lighting that you should do. You're fully in charge. Like, obviously be open to suggestions. If someone suggests a certain pose, or maybe put the light around this way, maybe like get this softbox or something like that, that could work. Obviously, if you could be open to that and be like, okay, that could actually work better. Obviously, don't be these like arrogant assholes just like, oh no, I'm the best, like no one should question me. Like, don't be like that. But for the most part, you can't rely on other people's suggestions. You need to do everything yourself. Because a couple of years ago, when I first started doing shoots of models, I had that mindset of like, oh, I don't really know what I'm doing. Like, I knew what I was kind of doing, but I wasn't really confident in my ability to take the best photos. So I'm just like asking the model for suggestions. I'll literally be like, oh, what pose should I do? And like, what pose should you do? And like asking them to pose. And it's like, No, you're the photographer. You pose them. That's the whole point. That's your job. You pose the model. Why is the model posing for you? You do it first. Obviously, they can pose for you, but for the most part, you want to do it yourself. Same with the lighting. Like, why are you asking the model about the lighting? I used to do that, by the way. I used to literally ask the model about, do you think this lighting looks good or something like that? Like, that is a terrible thing to have because it sounds like a good thing. It sounds like a positive thing because you're open to suggestions. You're open to collaboration, but in the long run, it shows that you're a very unconfident photographer because you're not confident in your ability to take the best photos because you're relying on everyone else's suggestions. Like, yeah, obviously be open to suggestions. If someone asked you to do something, if someone asked you, like, oh yeah, that lighting setup could work better, or this pose could work really well, obviously be like, yeah, we should do something like that, right? If it's not like super time wasting or anything. Like, if a model on a shoot, sometimes they would suggest a pose I wouldn't really think of, and it's like, sick, that's an amazing pose, let's do something like that, or let's do this shot. Maybe they'll ask you to do, maybe this angle will look cool or something like that, right? But for the most part, you know what's best. You know what's best. Don't rely on other people to tell you what to do. I've personally worked with several photographers in the past. I've worked as a gaffer for them. I've worked as an assistant, a BTS person. I've done the whole lot. And I can tell if the photographer has prepared for the shoot or not. Like, you can tell the way they like carry themselves on the shoots, the way they're communicating with people. You can kind of tell when they don't really know what they're doing. Not like they don't know what they're doing, but more of like, you can tell they didn't really plan it out that much beforehand. They didn't really put much thought into it, and you can see how it affects their mindset because they didn't plan out the photo. This all goes back to the first point, really, because they didn't plan out the photo shoot. Now it's like they're that bossy or that superior mindset has kind of gone out the window because they can't really act like that now because they can't really tunnel vision. Sorry, my camera died. It might have just cut randomly. What was I talking about? If you're not preparing for the photo, this goes back to the first point again. Because you're not preparing for the photo shoot, it's just like, you can't have that like bossy mindset or that mindset of like, I know what I'm doing, because you kind of don't know what you're doing. And you can see it, like you can see the body language. When someone who's prepared and someone who has that mindset, that more superior mindset, like I know what's best, you can see it in their body language. You can tell they're very confident, they're very fast paced, they're very clear in their words. They direct them in a very clear way. They direct the model, the team very well. It just flows really well. They can get stuff done really quickly. But compared to a photographer who hasn't prepared or doesn't have that mindset, they're like asking everyone questions. They're asking for validation, being like, do you think that lighting's good, or do you think that looks good, or something like that? They're showing them the photos or something like that. Like they're just like, they're just sitting around, like they're spending for like 5 minutes not knowing what to do next, and it's just wasting time. Like you can kind of tell what's going on behind the scenes in their mind and before the shoot. I actually did a photo shoot last week with a photographer, and I was like assisting them. I was doing some BTS as well, and it's for this like content shoot for an artist, and you can tell that he prepared for the photo shoot. I mean, he literally sent like over a brief. He sent me the brief for the photo shoot. He showed like it was like a styling plan. There was like some sort of like mood board and everything like that. So obviously he actually prepared for the photo shoot, and you can tell. Because you can tell you, it just goes back to the first point again, but like, you can tell on the day, because he prepared for the photo shoot, he had that mindset. He had this mindset of like he was directing it very well. He was telling everyone, okay, move the camera here, or because he had a videographer on the day as well, so it was like, okay, communicating with the videographer very well, being like, okay, do this, do that, and it's like he wasn't just sitting back being like, oh, can I take some photos now, or does this look good or something like that? They're like, no. They're taking charge of the entire photo shoot, and it's like, that's what you need. And because of that, we were able to finish on time. And he had like a couple of hours. He had to catch a flight like later on in the day, so he only had a few hours to shoot, and he got everything that he needed, which is obviously amazing. And when you have this more assertive, this more bossy or director mindset, you're actually creating a better experience for everyone else on the photo shoot. Because you can imagine, if you go onto your photo shoot and you've got a quite confident posture, you are directing and communicating with the team and the model very clearly, you're like, okay, you do this, you do that, you're giving orders, you're really taking control of the environment. The clients and other people actually can feel that ease, because they can look at that, even the model too, they can look at that and be like, oh, thank God, like that photographer knows what they're doing. Finally, that someone here who actually knows what they're doing, they're actually like taking charge, they're taking control of the photo shoot. I don't feel stressed if the photographer isn't going to get the photos or not. I know for sure that this photographer is going to take good photos. Like if you work with a photographer like that, who's super confident and super like thingy, they're like guaranteed good photos. It's like, you're almost like creating the illusion that you're better than you actually are. Even if you're not as skilled as they think you are, it's still like, because you carried yourself in this way, you just look like a 10 times more skilled photographer. Because you don't want to be that photographer who's quite awkward on the day, being quite timid, being like, oh, what lighting should I do? And like, what pose should I do? And like, you're thinking about the lenses you're going to use and you're looking like a fucking idiot, basically. You're just like, ooh, you look so amateur. You look like just an amateur because you want to feel like you don't want to be that bossy person because you think that's rude or something when it's not. And because you're like that, that can actually, again, like it's the opposite effect where like now the client's looking at you being like, oh, is he gonna get the photos? They get a little bit nervous, and now they can't be present or they can't have a fun experience because you're just moving about like an idiot and you don't really know what you're doing. And it's just, yeah, it's not the best. And also with your models too, because your models are literally a reflection of the photographer, of you. So if you're quite awkward and you have bad posture and you're kind of timid, the model is also going to be quite timid and shy or awkward, which obviously you don't want to do for your photos. And a bonus, more underrated tip to improving your confidence as a photographer, take notes. Like, get a physical notepad and write down mistakes that you've made in the past. Think about the mistakes that you've made on your photo shoots before. Is it like forgetting an SD card, forgetting to adjust the lighting properly? Maybe it's like you're too nervous or too excited on the day and you forgot to do this specific shot. Maybe go like, okay, this time look at the shot list that you made or something like that. Write those things down in a physical notepad, like write them down, and then you either bring it onto the photo shoot itself, you go on the photo shoot, you look over it again to remind you of like, don't make those mistakes, or you just don't, if you're not gonna bring it with you, you look at it beforehand and look over just as a reminder, because it basically serves as a reminder of what mistakes you've made in the past so you don't make them again. So for example, if you make the mistake of forgetting your SD card quite frequently on your photo shoots and you write it down, you can imagine if you look at the notes just before the photo shoot, you can look at it and be like, first point, don't forget SD card. Oh shit, yeah, don't forget SD card. Okay, check the camera bag or something like that, and then obviously you don't forget it ever again because you've come from these notes. And it's nice. I think it's a very underrated tip because I don't think a lot of photographers have said to do something like this. I've used it and it's nice. Like every photo shoot now, I just look over it and think, okay, what I've written down, I've got like a whole list of things right here. Like, I don't know, my handwriting's quite bad, but I've got like a whole list of things of like stuff that I make, like little mistakes, like, oh, like adjust the lighting properly. I've got stuff like check each light one at a time. So don't just turn all the lights on at once, but like check each light, see how it's affecting the model's face, adjust the exposure accordingly to the lights. That sounds like very basic, but sometimes you go on autopilot and you just forget, okay, I need to change the settings, I need to change this, I need to change that. And then, yeah, I got stuff like be calm, pay attention to the lighting. You've got stuff like communicate with the model, bring an SD card. Like you've got those little mistakes like that you make, maybe on your shoots that you forget to communicate with your model because you're so fixated on the photos. But when you look at those notes, you're like, okay, remind you to be like, okay, communicate with the model, make them feel comfortable, and make the experience much more fun than you would have done it if you didn't bring the notes. But anyway, that is it for the advice. Thank you for watching. Hope you found this useful. Like, subscribe, comment to boost the algorithm, and don't forget to check out my program, which I talked about earlier. Top links in the description below if you want to learn more. I'll be your personal coach. I'll give you access to courses that will tell you exactly how to build up a profitable photography business. I'm already helping people on the program. It's a fun time. Join the program. So yeah. Great. Yeah, I mean, top links in the description below if you're interested in that, and that's it for the video. Click on any of these videos here to learn more about portrait photography, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.